Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It is 12:12 a.m. I was just listening to this song at 17 by Janice Ian. Do you guys know that song? And I haven't heard it in quite some time. I love that song. It's interesting because I was just thinking about like the first time I ever heard that song. Well, I don't know that I remember the very first time that I ever heard that song, but I can remember like sitting in our library when I was growing up, and we had this black chrome, and like it was black leather and then chrome, very kind of like Scandinavian modern chair with an ottoman. And it was like over by this thing, and then we had this spool table next to it so the chair and the ottoman we have in our bedroom now. And the spool table, it's like an authentic spool table from back in the day. We have it in the garage because it's just, my mom used to put her drinks on it and stuff like that. I mean, it's just like really weathered. And so we're gonna get rid of that. And then to the right, and like the built-in bookshelves when I was growing up was like the stereo and the record player, and then like the speakers, and then on the other side were built-in speakers or built-in bookshelves on either, well, in the library all around the room, but the speakers were on either side of this huge fireplace that we had in there. Underneath the stereo, my mom just had tons and tons of records, of which I have all of them in the basement now. And I can remember when I started getting like a little bit older and becoming like fascinated with like who my parents had been in like junior high and high school. And you know, I would go through there and I would listen to those records, and I can remember reading my mom's yearbooks and like the things that people wrote her in her yearbooks. And I remember finding that album at 17 by Janice Ian. I can see the cover of it with her. I think she had a hat on in the cover, and I remember listening to that song and my mom coming into the library. We had these like French doors, like two of them, like one was on the kitchen side and one was like right when you came into the house. And you'd like open these French doors and you'd step down into the library. It was like actually like a library. And like an old school like kind of library with like every wall was just books. And huge vaulted ceilings. And with these like cathedral lights that fell down. Oh, I wanted to go the other way. Get something to drink, but I'll go this way. But anyway, I remember like playing that song and my mom coming in there, and I was like, what is this song? And I can remember like her talking to me about Janice Ian, and my mom always knew the history and all of the musicians, you know. And so if you don't know the song at 17, you should listen to it. It's basically about this girl, and she doesn't fit in. And she's kind of talking about, like, you know how now we talk about the different stereotypes of, like, kids in school, and, like, you know, you've got the jocks, and you've got the, you know, the drama school kids, and you've got the band kids, and, you know, all this kind of stuff. It's basically a song about that, but from really kind of a sad perspective. It's beautifully written. And it's kind of very sad, and it's basically talking about, it isn't just talking about the popular kids, it's talking about like what you do at that age but you don't realize that you're doing. And she's talking about like she says something like the small town queen who marries young and then retires. And then she says something about like, basically, so she always has people around her, and then a haven for the elderly. So it's like you get married young, and then like you're taken care of all your life, and you never have anything to worry about. And it's not like this song that's poking fun at these, you know, different, I think, stereotypical hierarchies that we have, like, in school. It's basically, because she's, like, more, like, she says something, I can't remember how she identifies herself, but she's, like, on the outside looking in, and she feels like she doesn't measure up to these people, basically, is what this song is about. And I remember listening to this song. It's funny, like, when I was listening to it, like, I couldn't sing the words for you right now, but when I was listening to it, like, I knew literally, like, every word. And, I can remember hearing that song for the first time at, like, 12 or something. And it just made me so sad, but, like, I so related to it. And I remember talking to my mom about it, and she was like, she explained, like, what the song meant to me, because I, like, didn't understand it, you know, and I started listening to, like, my parents' music, probably about 12 was when I really started listening. Not, like, I mean, I always listened to it growing up, right, but, like, listening to it for me, like, getting interested in certain musicians. I can remember, and then that went into, like, late junior high and, like, early high school for me, where I, like, really, like, developed my own interest in music. And I can remember listening to, like, with my dad, you know, my dad listened to so much, like, country western, and we don't call it country western today, but back then it definitely was, where it was, like, Merle Haggard, Willie Nelson. I mean, my dad listened to, like, the guys that, like, you know, these musicians that, like, toured, like, 364 days a year and lived these wild lives. And but my dad also, like, listened to, like, Jim Croce and Julio Iglesias. He listened to a lot when I was growing up. Well, okay, so my dad loved, like, some hard rock too. Like, he loved ZZ Top. ZZ Top's probably, like, one of his all-time favorite bands. And when I was growing up, he would, like, when he was in surgery, like, people would tell me this, like, because my dad used to have a lot of parties at his house when I was growing up. He would have parties, but he wouldn't have the other doctors over. He would have, like, the nurses and the technicians come to the house. And so they would, and they, you know, like, they all called my dad Dr. Monn, and they would be like, they would say to me, they would say, oh my God, your dad is so funny. Dr. Monn always listens, like, while the other doctors have us listen to, like, classical music and surgery, your dad has us listen to ZZ Top. And they loved my dad. Line is long tonight.
How may I help you?
Could I get a large Dr. Pepper, please?
Is that all?
Yep.
One moment.
Thank you. Actually, I had my change right here. I already counted out. That was, like, what I did when I got in the car. But it was interesting. I was, like, thinking about this tonight, like, all the music that I listened to. I don't want to keep on talking because it'll pick it up. My mom really took time. My dad just played a lot of music. Oh, Tom T. Hall was somebody that my dad, country music artist Tom T. Hall, Sneaky Snake and Watermelon Wine and all of that. And that I Like Beer song. My dad used to play a lot of that. I haven't listened to him in years. But it's so funny because I bet if I heard one of the songs I would know it immediately. I mean, I would know, like, the words to it immediately. But my mom, you know, I look back on it and she didn't even really realize what she was doing. But she kind of took me through the eras. Like, you know, when she would have, like, when her friend Diane would visit and stuff, they would listen to, like a lot of 50s and 60s music because that's what they grew up in, you know, like music that you hear in, like, The Big Chill and things like that. Actually, that when I got in the car, they were playing that, wouldn't it be nice? Is that the Beach Boys? Stuff like that. And then, but my mom kind of, like, when I started, like, getting really interested in music, you know, she took me through the music. I mean, not like, it wasn't like high school, you know, or wasn't like school assignments, but, like, you know, she would play like Arlo Guthrie for me and Woody Guthrie, and she would like explain like, you know, Woody Guthrie's music to me, and that he was like one of the fathers of folk music. And, you know, she then with Arlo Guthrie, like I can remember listening to, you know, Alice's Restaurant. Like I can remember just listening to that over and over and over again. You know, you can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant except for Alice. And, but like my mom knew the history of all of it too, because she was such a hippie and a beatnik, that she knew the history behind the songs and like what they meant and what they represented and things like that. And so she played a lot of like, and she had all the albums too, from like the Newport, you know, Folk Festival to, which I think is like where Janis Joplin like was played and like was noticed like the very first time. She loved Janis. My mom loved Peter, Paul, and Mary. Oh, Joan Baez. Huge Joan Baez fan. Joni Mitchell. Why can I never think of this person's music? Ricky Lee Jones. Is that her name? I was looking up these shoes earlier, so those were there. these Jordans that I want. Ricky Lee Jones, yeah. My mom loved her. And then, who else? Oh, my mom was one of the biggest Beatles fans ever in the world, ever. Like, she was a diehard Beatles fan. My dad said absolutely not. My mom wanted to name me Jude, after Hey Jude. And, so, you know, I was thinking about that tonight when I was listening to that song. It's like, how much our parents do impact us, you know? Like, I don't know, I hear a lot of people, like, friends of mine talk about, like, oh, my parents didn't encourage me to, like, be what I wanted to be, or my parents, you know, weren't around a lot, or whatever, and I look at that, and, you know, I talk so much about my mom's drinking and things like that, but the reality is, like, 80% of these stories that I'm telling you about my mom and the music and books and things like that, like, drinking was not involved in that. Drinking was later in the evening, you know, and it was a part of it, but it wasn't, I do remember, like, my mom, when she would be, like, in a really depressed state, sitting in the library and just having drink after drink, sitting in that chair. And I remember her later showing me, she loved this scene from The Way We Were. If you've ever seen the movie with Barbra Streisand and Robert Redford, it's fantastic. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it. So I think it's real relatable to anybody's life. And, you know, I think it was really relatable to my mom. And, you know, the fact that you had this guy that didn't really want to make waves, and then you had this, like, extreme liberal. I think it, to some degree, was, like, my parents, you know? And I think my mom really struggled with that. But, there's a scene when he and his friend are on the sailboat.
Oh, is that the breakfast?
Yes. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. Have a good one. There's a scene on the sailboat when he and his friend are out in the sailboat, out in, I don't even know where it's at, in California somewhere, and they're like, best day, and they're talking about, like, what's the best day they ever had, you know, like, what's the best year, best month, and, like, it's this very sad scene, this very melancholy scene of, like, looking back on your life. And I think my mom did that a lot. You know, it was like, I think she was forever stuck kind of like in certain states of her life because of music, because of movies and like books, and she'd have a hard time moving on. I can remember, like, at one point, oh, Judy Collins. I can't even believe I couldn't remember her. Judy Collins was one of my mom's probably top. Every album, the Judith album, played all the time in her house. Such a great album, Judith, if you've never heard it. But, like, you know, I can remember later I would say to my mom, like, you never, like, when I was in high school, Simon and Garfunkel. I'm forgetting a lot of people that my mom loved, but, like, when I got into high school, and I fell in love with Simon and Garfunkel and Janis Joplin. Not so much Janis Joplin didn't depress her, but like Simon and Garfunkel, Judy Collins. Did I say Judy Garland? I meant Judy Collins. Judy Collins, Joni Mitchell. Like, she kind of stopped, Arlo Guthrie. She kind of stopped, Joan Baez. She stopped listening to a lot of that music. I kept on interrupting myself and saying she stopped listening to a lot of that music. And I remember when I said to her one time, I said, Mom, you don't ever listen to any of that music anymore. And she's like, I know. And I was like, why not? She's like, it just, to be honest with you, Peter, it makes me really sad. It just really depresses me. And, so she just kind of stopped listening to it completely, you know? And then, she had this friend. Why can't I remember that woman's name? This was actually a woman that took my mom to one of her very first Al-Anon meetings. Because this woman was, like, involved in Al-Anon. But anyway, for that reason, I probably shouldn't say her name, but I don't even remember her name. She was, like, a friend of my mom's. I don't even remember how they met. And they weren't, like, super, super close, but she'd see her every once in a while. You know, like, friends come into your life for, like, a year, and then you don't ever hear. It was kind of like that deal. And, I remember she was real, like, this woman walked into a room. I remember she had, like, short, like, dyed, like, red hair. You kind of, like, she would walk into a room, and she kind of, like, owned the room, you know? But she listened to reggae music. Now, this was my introduction to reggae music. This is kind of funny. This is probably when I was a sophomore in high school. Oh, no. Maybe before that. Maybe, like, 9th grade. Because I remember I got the Bob Marley album that has Jammin' on it, like, in 9th grade. And by that point, I had already kind of, like, developed some of my favorite musicians and stuff, too. Like, Paul Simon was definitely one of my favorites. The Graceland album that came out when I was, like, I don't know, 8th, 9th grade, 10th grade. That was, like, one of my favorite albums of life. To this day, it still is. I love the Graceland album. But I remember this woman. I'm not going to say it on video, but her name was real different. I don't know why I can't think of what it was. It's kind of driving me crazy. But anyway, she and my mom became real close, and she would, like, they would walk every day, and, like, she introduced, like, my mom, like, changed everything she was eating because of this woman, and I don't know. But anyway, so this woman only listened to reggae music because she said that it made her happy. And so my mom, like, started listening to a lot of reggae music, like Bob Marley, and I can't remember who else. She listened to some Ziggy Marley too, but mostly Bob Marley. This woman would make, like, cassette tapes for her, which is so funny because I ended up loving, you know, a lot of reggae music too, although, like, I listened to it for a long period, and now I can't remember a lot of the artists that I listened to. But, who was, like, that one, like, dance hall reggae artist, Dawn somebody? I loved her. She did that No, No, No song. Do you know what I'm talking about? I love that song. But, you know, like, once you start listening to a lot of reggae music, there's a lot of reggae music that is, like, really, really sad. And it's basically Rastafarian folk music, some of it is, you know? I mean, that's simplifying it, but a lot of it really is, you know? I can remember the first time, and I was walking on a beach, and I remember this with my dad and, like, my stepmom. We were on vacation, and I was in high school, and I had a live version. So I was listening to Bob Marley at the pool, and this guy that was like, when would that have been? I guess it would have been 8th or 9th grade. And I remember, like, we were laying out by the pool, and we were laying out by this couple, and they were from, like, New York. And I was, like, going through my tapes, changing my tapes. And yeah, it would have been, like, 8th grade. And I think it was actually St. Martin. But not that trip that I talked about the other night. It was a different trip. We stayed at this place called Dawn Beach. And we were laying out, and it was my stepmom and I don't know where my dad would have been that day. my dad always went off and did stuff, like when my stepmom and I would lay by the pool, he would do like, go look at something that we didn't want to go do, you know? So anyway, we were laying out by this couple, and they were from like New York. I can see this guy in my head, and he was like, what are you listening to? And I was like, Bob Marley. And he was like, oh my God, he goes, the live version of No Woman, No Cry, like at, what's the place in New York City? I want to say Market Square Arena, because that's in Indianapolis, but you know, the huge concert venue. And he was like, that's like one of my all-time favorite songs, like one of my favorite versions of that song. And I was like, I don't know that song. I had never heard the No Woman, No Cry. And he was like, you've never heard it? And I said, no. And I can remember walking down the beach. He like loaned it to me, and I went and walked down the beach listening to like No Woman, No Cry, the live version of it. That was like live from, what is that, Rockefeller Center or whatever that place is, or no, what's the place? Madison Square Gardens, I think is what that was. And, or wherever he has that live New York thing from. But I remember listening to that, and like music's forever changed me, you know? Like I listen to songs, like some songs that just, what I should do is I should turn on my iTunes and let it play through, and I'll tell you about the songs that come up. But you know, right now it's Casey Kasem counting down 7, 12, 75, 7, listening to the 70s on 7. I used to listen to Casey Kasem a lot, that DJ that would do the countdown every, was it Saturday or Sunday? But music has really changed my life. I'm sure I'm stepping on some toes when I say this, and I don't mean to, but one of the saddest comments that people say to me is when I'll say to somebody like, what's like some of your favorite like bands, or who do you listen to? And they'll look at me and they'll be like, well, I'm not really into music, so I'm like, what do you mean you're not really into music? Like, and you know, honestly, like, I don't really care who it is. Like, I don't really care who your anthem or your soundtrack of your life is, but I just think, like, music is so life-altering. And I think it's interesting, too, when we talk about censorship of music, like, we want to censor certain music because of the words, you know, like, because it'll have, like, cuss words and stuff. Like, when I was in high school, who is the rock band? There was like some rock band that was like not allowed, like nobody was allowed to like wear their t-shirts to our school. I can't remember what it was. Oh, now I can't remember. This is so funny. But anyway, I've like been more affected by some of the most peaceful music that has some powerful lyrics to it, you know? I think about songs that have like really affected me in like the last probably 10 to 20 years. It's either the feeling of the music, or the message behind it, if it's like in a movie or something, you know. But also, I just had a song in my head that I wanted to say something about. Now I can't remember what it was. Oh, I was gonna say, you know, like the song by Beyonce, I Was Here. That song has had like such a powerful effect on me. I love that song so much. And I have to say, I'm not a huge Beyonce fan. Like, do I like her? Sure. Am I the biggest Beyonce fan in the entire world? No. And no offense, Steven, but I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. I don't dislike Taylor Swift, but I'm not a huge Taylor Swift fan. I actually could tell you, oh, that was kind of jolting, wasn't it? I could actually tell you what Taylor Swift song I have in my phone, which will be like 2 country songs and probably 3 new songs. Okay, artists, let's see. If you don't know who I'm talking about, Stephen Hill, the vlogger that I recommended, he is like the biggest Taylor Swift fan in the entire world. And since I know he watches all of my vlogs, I'll do this for him. Okay, oh, I actually have quite a few songs of hers. 6 albums. I have Hours, the song Hours, and then I have Begin Again, and then I have Look at What You Made Me Do, And then I have Mean. I love that song. And then I have We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together. And then I have Blank Space, Style, and Bad Blood. Those are the 3 songs. So anyway, I'm actually going to plug this in. Is it like fully charged? I'm going to plug this in and then I'm just going to play it. And when a song comes up, I will tell you guys what that means to me. And if it doesn't mean anything to me, then, well, hell's bells, we won't talk about it. No. Dawn, what was her name? I want to look now and see. Zac Brown Band was the first thing that came up. Isn't that so funny? I do love them, though. I want to look up this song. No. Dawn Penn. No, you don't love me anymore. I think that's what it's called. It did pull up the album. I have that album at home. I wonder what they consider her. They have it under pop. It's definitely, I wouldn't consider it pop. Anyway, I put this over here, and then we'll just move to the next song and see what the next song is. Oh, Afrojack and Stevie Aoki, No Beef. I love this song. So we heard this at Ultra 2 years ago. We didn't go last year, or we didn't go this year, so 2 years ago. Oh, no, I heard it probably 4 years ago. And, if you have never been to a music festival in your life, I think everybody should go to a music festival at least once in their life. And you don't have to stay all 3 days. Just go for one night if you want to. But just to dance and feel alive. And I have to say, you know, like every time that I've gone, I've been overweight. I have never once ever felt judged. I don't feel like anybody's looking at me like, oh, you're old or whatever. I never felt that way. Now, I will say Ultra's a little bit different than like what I've heard from some other music festivals, and I've gone to some local ones. What is going on here? Oh no! I can't get through to where I usually vlog. What? For how far down? They're doing construction tonight. But yeah, like everybody should go at least for one night. And like at Ultra, like I have to just say, like I'm not even like, there's a lot of people that are like 20 years older than me at Ultra. It's really fun. But anyway, so I heard this song No Beef. Oh, it's not playing because it's on my charger thing. I heard that like 2 years ago and I downloaded it because I loved it. Another dance song. Time Bomb by Kylie Minogue. Okay, do you know what's so funny about Kylie Minogue? Here, I can pull up here. I never heard of Kylie Minogue before, and my ex loved her. And I can't remember that song that she came out with. I've never been a huge Kylie Minogue fan, but my ex loved her. And I can remember at the time that she got like famous for doing music. She had been on like that show Neighbors in Australia. And so I can remember every time that we would talk about it. Because she was kind of like this obscure, like, not obscure like in like Australian culture, but like in the United States, people didn't really know who Kylie Minogue was. And then she came out with this like music, this club music, and everybody was talking about her. And then they would talk about how she was on this show called Neighbors, which I had never seen. And I can remember my friend Jenny at the time, my friend Jenny, her dad is from Scotland. And so they would go and spend like 3 months in like England visiting that side of their family. And her sister ended up moving to London. And we ended up visiting her sister over Christmas one year. I was like 20 or 21. I would think I was 20. It was the year before I turned 21, so it was like that December. And we went to London and we stayed with her. Oh my God, that trip was crazy. This woman the other day at the pool was talking about, she said something about, well, I was talking to her and she had to get out. She's like, I have to go. She's like, I'll be right back. And I said, okay. And she was like, I'm going to take a cigarette break. And I said, okay. And it had stopped. And I don't know how long it had been stopped for. I was talking about this woman at the pool. So anyway, I was talking to this woman at this pool and she was like getting out to go take a break. She was gonna go smoke a cigarette, she said. So she had to like go out of the gate and like down this little path area and all this kind of stuff. So anyway, she's like, it's so much trouble to smoke a cigarette anymore. And she's like, I remember back in the day when you could even smoke on airplanes. And I said, oh my God, I totally remember that. And Alex goes, you remember when you could smoke on airplanes? And I said, yeah. I said, my friend Jenny and I said, we went to London to visit her sister. So if that was when I was 21, that would have been like 1992. 1991, 90, yeah, it would have been then. That was when it had to have been, because that's when she and I were closest. Was like that 3 years after high school. But I can remember flying to London in the middle of the night. God, we left at like 5 or something in the afternoon. And I can remember sitting on the back of the plane and we were, oh, maybe I had to have been 20 then, because to drink on the plane, well, we were like, they kept on serving us drinks. And I can remember smoking and ashing in that little ashtray that was like the thing that went down. We used to have a little ashtray in it. Oh my God, we were so tanked. We got laughing so hard. And we were watching some movie that they had on TV, on the TV things that, oh my God. Oh, shit. No, no, no. So anyway, Kylie Minogue, my ex, loved Kylie Minogue. I was like in my head thinking about my friend, Jenny. I put her through some real hell drinking. Real hell. And you know, like she and I never fell out as far as being friends. Like we would talk, like, we live really close actually. She and her husband live really close to us. And I would talk to her like, you know, a couple times a year or whatever. But like when I got sober, she and I were not close. Like we had like kind of had not a falling out, but we just, our lives had gone different ways and we weren't really talking. And it had been some time. And I didn't talk to her for probably the first 5 or 6 years, you know, and it never occurred to me, because she hadn't been in my life for like a year and a half, like before I got sober. Well, a year maybe. Six months to a year, she hadn't been involved in my life. I don't know the timing on all this stuff looking back now, but anyway. So when I got sober, she still wasn't in my life for a while, you know, and it never occurred for me to put her on my amends list. And I did a lot of damage to her. She was kind of my pick me up person. Like she always kind of, you know, do you have one of those people, like when you're a mess? Like I try to think of myself as not necessarily that today, but you know, back in the day that like when everything was falling apart, Jenny was my friend that would like pick me up and put me back together, you know. And one of the things was that my parents loved her. Both of my parents. Like, my mom loved her. And her mom had passed away when, like, the year after we got out of high school. And my mom felt real connected to that. She knew her. And so, and she just really liked her. And I think she related to her, like, having gone through the divorce and things like that. And so, and then my dad and my stepmom adored her. Like, to this day, like of all of my friends from back then, she's like the only one they ask about, you know. And so she, like, we could get away with a lot. And yeah, she just like, I remember one night, she like, we were driving around or something, I can't remember, somebody probably broke up with me and I was a mess, and I used to drink, like when I didn't have any money, I would drink Southern Comfort, like pints of Southern Comfort, which would get me drunk real quick. Southern Comfort is horrible, but it's like this cherry-based, like cherry-flavored, like, whiskey. It's horrible. I mean, it's not. It's like a whiskey, but it's like a famous whiskey, but it's horrible. And I don't know why I would drink that. I think I started drinking it because of like Thelma and Louise or something. She and I were obsessed with that movie. And so I just remember this one night, she was driving around, but she wasn't drinking, but I was like wasted and I was drinking in her car. And she got pulled over by the police. And the police were like, and I can remember I got out of the car and she was like, I started getting out of the car and she's like, do not get out of the car. We were like in this gas station, like we had been pulled over into this gas station parking lot area. And she was like, do not get out. That's so funny because that's a Starbucks in Carmel now. She was like, do not get out of the car. And it used to be this marathon station. And I was like, don't tell me what to do. I was real belligerent, you know. And she was like, I'm trying to help you. Don't get out of the car. And I remember the police officer came to the window and he was like, what's going on? I smell alcohol. And she's like, I haven't been drinking. I'm trying to get my friend home. He's intoxicated. And just was a lot of that, you know, always taking care of me. So anyway, probably 6 years ago, she and I, like, we hadn't gotten together for lunch or dinner in like forever. Well, it was after my book came out, so 2014, so it would have been probably 5 years ago. It was before, like, I always look at things as like after my book came out, before I got on YouTube, those kinds of things, you know, because I wasn't on YouTube yet. So we went and had lunchish dinner, and like, where did we go? It was right up the street. I can't remember where we went. We had such a great time. And it hadn't been, like, I mean, years since I'd seen her. Like, I would go over to her house and see her like, because she had added on so much stuff to her house. Her house is gorgeous. That she and her husband bought, like, this smaller house, and they just kept on adding on and adding on and adding on to it. And, so I remember we were at this lunch dinner thing, and I was telling her, she said something about, I was talking about Tanya, and like, because, you know, like, my friends from back then, they don't know Tanya, you know, I mean, it's not like, I don't see these people much today, you know. And I said something about Tanya, and she was like, well, how, you know, like, I was talking to her about, like, you know, being sober and all that kind of stuff, and I said, you know, Jenny, I don't think I ever made you an amends. And whenever people from back in the day, like, I say that to them, you know, like, if I say I owe you an amends, or I didn't make an amends to you, like, oh, don't worry about it, whatever. I'm like, no, I need to do that, you know? And I actually, because I don't believe in making amends before you speak to your sponsor first, because I think you need to run that stuff by your sponsor and then pray on it and have no expectations going into it, because it's really not for you, it's really for the other person. I mean, it's really not for the other person, it's for you. Although it seems like this selfless act, but it's not. It's to free you from the bondage of all of that, you know? But like, I've had some pretty amazing amends that I didn't run by my sponsor, you know, like the one with the ex-professor in Starbucks. But anyway, I can remember I said I made a full amends to Jenny, you know? And I remember she looked at me across the table and she said, well, I accept it. And she said, you know, you were a hard friend to have. And I remember that was like really painful to hear. And I said, you know, I'm so sorry. And she said, and like, we're taught not to say I'm sorry, but like, we just had this like really intimate moment, you know? And she said, I cared so much about you. She said, but like, I just felt like you were, she said, like, there was just nothing I could do. And I just wanted to help you save yourself, but there was like nothing that I could do, you know? And she said, I just saw person by person by person just drop you, you know? And I think ultimately that's probably what happened, you know? Was like, I don't know why I'm getting so emotional about this. I think ultimately that's probably what happened, was it just was enough. It's just, she couldn't do it anymore, you know? Like, as alcoholics and addicts, like, really the only people we have at the end are our chief enablers and the people that are so codependent they need us in their lives. And if you're one of those people, I'm sorry, but that's just the truth, you know? Because we've pushed everybody away. Because anybody that has the ability to set healthy limits and boundaries does not allow an addict or an alcoholic to ruin their lives. They just don't. Because they can see it for what it is. They can see, hey, I love you as an addict and alcoholic. I want the best for you. I'm here for you, but I'm not going to be walked over. And I'm not going to have my life ruined because of you. You know? And I pushed everybody away. I pushed some fantastic friends away. You know? And you know the really sad thing about it is, I can remember when I was in treatment, and I would think to myself, you know, like, oh am I out of time? I can't even see. But you know, my counselor would say, like, before you leave here, I want you to call up your friends and tell them that you're not going to hang out with them anymore. You know? And I was real resistant to doing it. I didn't want to do it. Just as a side note, most of the people that I chose to call didn't call me back. But really what it was I found out was that I was ruining their good time. But the really sad comment about all that is that the good friends that I had, you know, were the ones that I had pushed away. And they were the people that they didn't really need the phone call, nor did they get it, because they were already kind of done anyway. The good friends that cared, you know? And then I had, like, you know, 6 or 8 friends. Those quantity friends, not quality friends. You know, like 6 to 10, 6 to 8 people that, like, those were the people that I, like, were keeping up with in treatment. I can remember, like, every day I would get out of treatment and get on the cell phone, get on the payphone and start calling people, like, after I got out of group. Did I say after treatment? I meant, like, every day that I got out of, like, group therapy while I was in treatment, I would go to this panel of these, like, payphones that we had, and I was obsessed with finding out what happened to this guy that I had been dating, who was, by the way, who introduced me to cocaine. And so I was, like, on the phone, and I was like, I was, like, asking, like, all these questions to, like, one of my friends. I was like, so who's he dating? Like, what's he going, you know, whatever. And I can remember just, like, this hand reaching over and click. And I looked up, and it was my counselor, and she goes, you're done. And I was like, she and I kind of got into it. I was like, I don't remember what she said or what I said. I was like, what do you mean done? And she was like, you're done. Like, you're done with the payphones. We're not playing this game anymore. And that was probably one of the most valuable things that happened to me in treatment, was just, like, this disconnect from the outside world. When people, like, are intent on driving towards you with their brights on, I think that's so rude. But she was like, we're done. Like, with this connection that you have to have with the out, because you're not disconnecting from this world that you lived in, you know? Sure, you've put down the drink and the drug and you're not going out to a bar, but you're still, like, staying connected via, and she was done at that point. And that was probably one of the things that saved my life, honestly. The counselor that I had in treatment is still a good friend of mine today, because I ended up working with her for 13 years, and well, like 10, because she left about 3 years before I did to go work somewhere else. And now she does something completely different today. She runs, like, a Pilates, she started a Pilates studio, and she's fantastic. I love her. But anyway, and it's funny because she's only like 4 or 5 years older than me. Because, like, she got out of college and got her, like, master's degree, and then, like, was working in treatment. And I was, like, one of the first, like, groups that she had. So when I was 22, she was probably, like, 26, 27, you know? Maybe 26, maybe 27. And, what is this car doing, stopping at a yellow light? There's no need for that. The corn is getting really high, guys. It's, like, kind of spooky. It always reminds me of Children on the Corn, that somebody's going to come out and run towards my car. Yeah, she saved my life. Like, I mean, I know I did the work and all that kind of stuff, but like, she told me the things I needed to hear. And I think, like, it was weird. I look back on it and I think to myself, she said it to me in a way that wasn't hardcore and mean. She said it to me in a way that was like, almost kind of like, I always think like there was like such this like perfect timing and everything that had to happen with me getting sober. And maybe that's stupid to think that way, but like, you know, I had always wanted a big sister. She was very much like a big sister type to me. I look at her today even, and I think like she and Caroline remind me very much of each other. And, you know, like, she talked to me that way. She didn't talk to me as like this counselor that had all this power. She talked to me this way of like an older sister that cared about me, but wasn't going to tolerate any of my crap. And then, you know, like the older sibling that kind of like, okay, you know, but like won't tolerate any crap. That's kind of how she was with me. But also like, would kind of let me spin my wheels, like, cause she was interested, but she wasn't that interested. You know what I mean? Like, I remember like one weekend, she took a day. I remember she took a day off, and it was like, it was for something. Like, it was like a big deal. Like, it was like her birthday or her anniversary. Like, I think she just got married or something like that. And I was like, she was gone for like a whole day, and I needed her that day to like approve something that I wanted to do. And I was pissed when she came back. And this was like early on, because we got to be real close in treatment. I remember actually like a week before I left, and she said, I'm planning your discharge, and I want to start working on your aftercare plan. And I said, okay. I said, I'm terrified. I don't think I'm ready to go yet. And she goes, but you're scared. And I said, yeah. And she said, like, healthy scared or unhealthy scared? And I said, I don't know the difference, you know? And I said, I'm just scared. She said, like, terrified or like, you're afraid you're going to pick up? And I said, no, I'm afraid I'm going to pick up. And that was honest. Like, I did feel like that. Like, when I was in treatment, I felt safe. Like, I did not want to use. And she said, how would you feel if you had a sponsor and a list of meetings, counseling, and aftercare set up for when you get out of here? And I said, that would make me feel better. And she was like, so with the right amount of fear and the right amount of resources, I think you're ready to go. And she was right. I was ready to go, you know? But like, she just would always say things to me in this way that, I don't know, but like, I can remember she was gone for this one day, and it was something I needed approved. I can't remember what it was. Maybe like going to an outside meeting or something. And she came back, and I remember like I was up out of breakfast and at her door that morning when she walked through that door. And I looked at her and I said, oh, so we think we can take a day off, huh? Like, we think we can just take a day off. Well, don't you think there are people here that need you to do your job? And I can't remember what it was she had to do. It was something kind of sad, honestly. It was like, her dad had died. I think it had something to do with her. Like, her dad had died when she was like in high school. So I think it had something to do with that. It was like the anniversary of his death or something like that. I don't know. But it was something kind of sad. And she told me what it was, and she looked at me and she goes, you really do think you're the most important person here, don't you? And she turned and walked into her office and closed the door behind her. And like, that was real, like, humbling for me, you know? Like, we want to talk about this idea of humility. It's like, show me the person that says they're the most humble person in the room, and I'll show you the person that's the most arrogant in the room. You know, but, I don't think humility is something that somebody teaches us. I think humility is something that we learn by circumstances that are outside of our control. I really do. You know, it's like on my drama channel lately, you know, there's been this conversation about humility and humble pie, and, you know, this idea of like, we need to serve somebody up some humility. I'm not really sure humility works that way. I think you have to kind of be open to it, honestly. And I honestly think that it can kind of go both ways too. You know, it's like, Have you ever met the person that's so arrogant they'll never be humbled? Okay, well, have you ever met the person that constantly humbles themselves to a point that it's past humility? I mean, it's to a point where it's degradation, self-degradation. Like, neither one is healthy. It's like a happy medium, I think, but I think humility is realizing that you are no different than anyone else is really what it is, and that whatever your circumstances are, well, there's a certain amount of hard work and there's a certain amount of luck and maybe, faith that happened along the way with all of that. And if your circumstances are worse than everybody else's, well, there's a certain amount of, just circumstances that I think that's humility too, and realizing that. It's like I can remember years ago seeing, I've talked about this on here before, the Academy Awards, the woman, there was this documentary, I can't remember what it's called now, but I feel like Steven Spielberg directed it. I don't know why, but I could be wrong. But it was the same year as, Schindler's List, and it was this documentary about the Holocaust, and it was this survivor, and it was her story. And he, whoever won the Academy Award, it was for Best Documentary. Whoever won the documentary gave her the Oscar to accept. And I'll never forget the speech. And she said, for 50 years I have woken up every single day, and I have asked myself, why me? I am no different. And I think about that all the time. I think about all of my friends that I've lost to addiction, So many friends of mine that I've lost to AIDS. They're not bad people. They weren't bad people. They didn't pass away because they're bad people. And many of us took the same risks. So why them? Why not me? I think it's one thing to say, I think so-and-so could use a little humility or be humbled, right? I think when we start saying that we're going to be the ones doing it, it becomes very dangerous. I've had a lot of people say to me stuff in my life about humility. Addicts and alcoholics by nature, we are not humble people. We just aren't. And it's something that we work on, when we get God-centered, and that's why service is so important to people in sobriety, because it takes you out of yourself. And I can remember, so when I came back in from having not gone to meetings for 4 years, and I came in, and there was a year where I was going to meetings twice a day, 7 days a week. And my sponsor at the time, after that first year, I think I felt insecure with the fact that I had been gone for 4 years. Although in retrospect, that being gone for 4 years was probably the most important thing that's ever happened to my life and to my sobriety. Because I had to have no emotional sobriety, and I had to have no spiritual, axiom or spiritual foundation in my life. I was lost. I was absolutely lost during that period of my life. And I look at that, and I think, and probably even 2 years before that, I was lost. 2 or 3 years before that, that I wasn't really active in the 12-step program, even though I was going to 1 meeting a week. I wasn't really talking to my sponsor, even though he was my sponsor. But I look at that period of my life, and I just was lost. So I come back in, and I'm feeling the sunlight of the spirit, so to speak, and I'm feeling, rejuvenated as a person in recovery, and now I want to stand behind, you know, all this stuff. And so my sponsor was like, you're going to change up all your meetings, and you're going to start going to new meetings, and when you go, whenever you share, you can't share like, well, I've had so many years sober. He was like, you just have to share. And if people assume that you're a newcomer, well, then they assume you're a newcomer. And he goes, and at some of the meetings you have to pass, which means like when it comes to you, just pass. Like you go, I'm just going to pass for the night, Peter, you know, I'm just going to listen. And he goes, you just need to allow people to assume that you're a newcomer. And I'm like, why? And he goes, because you're hiding behind the arrogance of being an old timer. And he goes, and we're not going to do that. He goes, if you want to share, you know, your sobriety, length of your sobriety to show that people can do it, like that's one thing, right? But to show it in a different way, because you're hiding behind that. He goes, those years don't mean anything. He goes, it's who gets up earliest in the morning, which I truly do believe today, you know. I did this video the other day, and I started crying when this person was like, they had 10 days sober. I was talking about it on my drama channel. I started crying because like 10 days, I'm not saying that my life of sobriety is easy today, but it's like 10 days of staying sober today at 25 years is nothing compared to 10 days in early sobriety. 10 days in early sobriety is literally like, it truly is life or death. It's like the ICU of addiction. I mean, like, if you're lucky to make it. 10 days is unbelievable, you know? And to see a newcomer sit in front of you with 10 days sober, like, that is so powerful. And so, when that girl read it, or she commented on my video and said that, and then I read it, it just, you know, like, I shouldn't say that. There are days I have today that are really, really hard, like early sobriety, but my thought pattern isn't to go right to the bottle or the drug. You know what I mean? Like, that's not my thought. I don't think, like, my go-to isn't to drink or to use. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like, you know, 25 and a half years ago, my go-to was, well, let's get drunk, or let's do this. Like, my go-to today is, it'll pass, or, well, damn, you're awfully blessed for this life that you have, or call your sponsor, you know, when I, you know, sit on the back patio and think about this wonderful life that you have, or whatever, you know. How did I get into all of that from Time Bomb by Kylie Minogue? Anyway, my ex loved Kylie Minogue. I don't know how I got down this long road of talking about sobriety. I love talking about sobriety. I'm passionate about talking about sobriety. I could talk about it all day long and every day, you know. If I could have a whole channel where all I did was talk about sobriety, I would, and have people come on there and share their stories. And we talk about so much the sadness of addiction, but like, I think it's important to talk about like the hope. You know, it's interesting because my cousin's watching Intervention right now, Caroline is, and she's like obsessed with it. She was telling me this like 2 weeks ago or something, and maybe even longer than that. So anyway, I was thinking about right now, like, what I like about Intervention, because I used to watch that show because it's so dark, you know. I still don't understand how these people, like, can, after so many seasons of the show, can have a camera crew following them around and they don't realize that they're going to be on this, you know, reality show or whatever, but whatever. I think it's fake. But my favorite part of the show is at the very end to see if A, if they go to treatment, and B, like, the update to see, like, how they're doing. And I think the reason why that's the most interesting to me is because I just like to see how people do, you know what I mean? Like, to know that there's so much hope to be had out there for people that are, you know, to get sober and live this amazing life. And you know, the reality is, like, Tanya and I were talking about this today, because we were talking about the language of recovery, that, like, you know, so we might look at things in a different way or talk about it in a deeper, more, you know, analytical kind of way, right? Like, if we're going through something, I'll be like, well, have you ever looked at this? Do you think this is a God moment? Like, did you do inventory? Or, like, what, you know what I mean? Like, those might be conversations that she and I would have, or, like, we would have with our sponsor or with other friends of ours that are in recovery. So there's definitely a language to it, you know? And I was telling her that I felt so blessed to have that language in my life today that I speak, you know, that's, like, a language that I have to, like, translate stuff that's going on. It stopped. But I was telling her how blessed I feel to have that as, like, a language that I translate stuff that's going on in my life. But that being said, like, you get sober and it's like, at some point, like, the friends are magical, the meetings are magical, the way of thinking is magical, but everything else is just what everybody else has. I mean, it really is. You know, it's just like we just got ourselves to where everybody else is in life, you know? And we were actually, Alex and I watched RuPaul's Drag Race tonight. We caught up on it. And Jujubee, RuPaul is asking Jujubee something to the effect of, like, what got you to this point that you're at now of, like, confidence or something. And Jujubee said, my meetings and the people at my meetings. And basically, without saying it, I was talking about going to, you know, 12-step meetings in recovery, and RuPaul starts crying. And I never knew this about RuPaul. RuPaul starts crying and said, those people saved my life too. And I needed those same people. And, you know, it's interesting because, like, looking back, I've always kind of wondered if RuPaul wasn't sober, because RuPaul will say things that are 12-step slogans, you know? And, I don't know, it was just like, it was so powerful to hear them tell those stories, you know? And, for me, as a person that's 25 and a half years sober, to see two people that I look up to artistically and see that they're sober too. And this is where it has nothing to do with time, because Jujubee said something like 4 or 5 years ago. It doesn't have anything to do with time. It just has to do with camaraderie, you know, fellowship. And to realize that, oh my God, we have something in common, you know? And I think that's why it's important. I wish more people would come out and share their stories of being sober and being in recovery, you know? And, I was gonna wait for that car, but because I was like, how far away are they? Because I don't have night blindness necessarily, I just can't see as well as I used to be able to see, you know? So anyway, I don't know. Sobriety and there is an RV literally parked out here on the side of the road, or like in this, is that it's a driveway maybe. I was like, that is so scary. There is just a big RV out there, like The Hills Have Eyes. Oh my God, that is so terrifying. Anyway, did you ever see that movie back in the day, the old school one? No, no, no. Should we play the next song? Okay, my ex liked Kylie Minogue, end of story. I'm not a huge Kylie Minogue fan. I don't dislike her, but she's okay. She looks great, I will say that. The next song, oh my God, is What a Wonderful World by Tony Bennett and Katie Lang. I used to listen to Katie Lang quite a bit, and I don't anymore. That's the end of that. I can't remember. She had a whole album that I loved. I don't even remember what was on that album. But this is what I do. I play my iPad, and then I just kind of sort through the music, or I just, like, you know, to the next one. Baby's on Fire by Die Antwoord. Okay, I have to tell you, this is so funny. So there's, like, this South African brother and sister that are these, like, rappers. And I saw them at Ultra a couple years ago, but before that, I saw this song, and I love this song. I know every word by heart, just so you know. Okay. She's got, like, the blonde mullet kind of hair and real short bangs. You know what I'm talking about? Okay. Okay. I'm not going to pronounce this name right, but it's Caminito, and it's Carlos Gardel. And I said on here that it was Venezuelan the last time I talked about it, but it's actually Argentinian. And so I helped Alex's mom she like went to Argentina, and so she was putting these pictures together for this group that she went with, and so she helped me put it together with music, and that she wanted all this guy's music, and so she downloaded it. She like the whole time, like we're listening, putting this thing together with these pictures on the computer, she was singing these songs. So that's who that is. I actually like his music. He's kind of like the Frank Sinatra of like Argentina, I guess. Memories by Maroon 5. I wouldn't know that song if I heard it. Okay. A lot of these songs, like, I don't know. I just download music all the time, you guys. I'm obsessed with it. Please, please, please let me get what I want by the Smiths. Okay, the Smiths are probably one of my top 5 musical artists of life. Up there with Bob Dylan. I don't know who my all-time top 5 would be. I think Judy Collins probably would be, or she used to be. She might be 6th or 7th now. But I love the Smiths, and I love did I say Bob Marley? I meant Bob Dylan. This is one of my favorite songs, but this song makes me very, very sad. Okay, I Will Remember You by Sarah McLachlan. I love her so much. That song makes me so sad, though. Okay. I Take My Chances by Mary Chapin Carpenter. Okay, Mary Chapin Carpenter, she's kind of a storyteller, country singer. I don't know if she really puts music out anymore, but she put out music for a long time. This is from the album The Essential Mary Chapin Carpenter, and I loved this album back in the day. Oh my God, I knew that Old Sweater, Old Friends, I knew all whatever those songs are called. I knew every word to every song. This one's like, I take my chances. Anyway. I love that song. Okay, let's see the next one. Oh my God, After the Glitter Fades by Stevie Nicks from the Belladonna album. This is the last track on side 1 of the album, and it's actually kind of really a sad song, and it's about like this girl that moves to California, and she has a little bit of fame, and then it's like, well, what happens after all of that fades, you know, and like, who are you then, and what has become of you, kind of. It's such a beautiful song, but it's kind of, that's actually, Belladonna is like one of my favorite albums of life, and it also has my favorite Stevie Nicks song of life, which is Nightbird. Okay, this song, Colombian Sax by Mosca. It's this guy that plays like the sax music, and he is like, it's like electronic dance music. Marry Me by Jason Derulo. I love that song. I don't know why. See, a lot of these songs don't really have any meaning to me. I don't know that song. Zoon Balloomba. You and Tequila by Kenny Chesney. Okay. First of all, Kenny Chesney is definitely, you want to talk about celebrity crushes, Kenny Chesney is definitely one of my celebrity crushes, okay? Also, Brad Paisley. Also, Tim McGraw. Definitely Tim McGraw. Okay, definitely Daniel Craig. Andy Cohen is probably number 1. I think he's so sexy. I just love Andy Cohen. Anderson Cooper is up there. I gotta change the battery. Woo! Okay, all my celebrity crushes. Hold on a second. Okay. But I love this song, You and Tequila, and it's got this girl on here. Her name was Grace something. It says Fee, F-E for featuring, but it doesn't say the rest of her name. What Are You Doing for the Rest of Your Life by Barbra Streisand. So we heard this at Alex and I every year because somebody that he works for sponsors this event. It's the American Songbook, and it's the top 10. Is it top 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it's the top 10 singers, like songbook singers, teen singers. They have to apply, and it's from all over the country, and they sing like songs that are from the American Songbook. So I think I've talked about it on here before. It's really cool. I'm sad we didn't get to go this year. It's always in the summer. I don't actually think it's happened yet. It's usually supposed to be like in August, but I'm sure it's not happening this year because of, you know, the COVID. But, so they sing songs that were like in a lot of famous, like Barbra Streisand songs, Frank Sinatra songs, but then songs that were like in musicals. They have to be part of what is considered the American Songbook. So they're basically like standards, like standard songs that you would know. And a couple years ago we went and I like tagged a bunch of these songs, and this was one of them that I tagged. I love Barbra Streisand though. That's probably like one part of the gay gene that I did get. Wagon Wheel by the Old Crow Medicine Show. That's the original Wagon Wheel. I love that version of it. Well, the original is like, I think written by Bob Dylan, but let's see. I downloaded the whole album of The National. This is this band that like my friend told me to listen to a couple years ago. There's literally only like 2 or 3 songs on there that I like. Postcards from Paradise by Flesh for Lulu. So this was one of my favorite songs in high school. Postcards from Paradise. I don't remember the words at the beginning of it. Do-do-do, down in the rain. We used to go, Postcards from Paradise. Anyway. Teeth by Lady Gaga. I love her so much. I don't know that song. Some of these songs I don't even know what they are. Sinks by Nora En Pure. Nora En Pure is my favorite DJ of life. Cupid by Amy Winehouse. I'm a huge Amy Winehouse fan. Tragic. This makes me so sad. Cherish, Cherish by Madonna. Okay, by the way, my friend that watches this vlog, Stephanie, we were good GDs in high school. If I had to think of one song that reminded me of her, it would be Cherish by Madonna. Okay. I don't know why. She actually kind of looked like Madonna back in the day a little bit, with like this bleached blonde hair. And oh my god, this country song. Do you guys know the country song Don't Miss Your Life by Phil Vassar? And it's about this dad, and he's always traveling in the airport, and the guy says to him, like, don't miss your life. Oh, I love that song so much. Say you will, one more chance. Fleetwood Mac, love that song. I don't know why, it's kind of a random song. Blue Velvet by Lana Del Rey. I don't know that song, some random country song. Endless Love by Luther Vandross. Well, I really love the original with Diana Ross and Lionel Richie, but the Mariah Carey Luther Vandross one is just as amazing, and I just miss Luther so much. He was such an amazing musical artist. Patti Loveless. See, I can pull out some of the country. You guys, what is happening with Naya Rivera? That is so sad. This is from the cast of Glee. I watched literally every episode of Glee, some of them 2 and 3 times, and so unbelievably tragic. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, she had rented a boat in this lake, I think in California. It's like Lake Pinu, or I don't know what the lake is called, but anyway, beautiful lake, but so tragic. She and her son were swimming, and she didn't get back in the boat, I guess, or something. I don't know. And the authorities found him. He's like 3 or 4, sleeping in the boat. And he said, my mom and I were swimming and she didn't get back in the boat. So horrible. And they've been looking for her for like probably 4 or 5 days at this point. So sad. So I just can't. I guess like it seems kind of unreal to me, honestly. And then tonight, I saw that Lisa Marie Presley's son had taken his life. I was like, oh my god, there's so much tragedy out there. So sad. So I used to download a lot of the Glee music. I don't know that band. I don't know some of these songs. Here's another one. Here's To Us. That was a great song, actually, that they did on Glee. Oh, I just downloaded this song. I love this song. It's called If the World Was Ending, and it's by J.P. Saxe. And it's about this couple. It's such a great song. If you've never heard it, you should look it up. And it's about this couple that have broken up, and like he says to her, like, but if the world was ending, like, would you come over? Would you stay the night? It's just a really great song. I actually want to listen to that when I get I actually squid want to listen to that when I get off of here. So I think I'm going to start ending this vlog so that I can listen to that as soon as I get off of here. I need to do a driveway vlog where I just sit in the driveway. And I need to get some limoncello St. Croix is what I was going to say. Those limoncello La Croix that Sarah, I wonder where I could get those. Nowhere this late at night. But anyway, I need to get some of those limoncello La Croix that Sarah had. They're so good. I wonder if I could Amazon Prime them to the house and they would be there like in the morning. Because I want them for the pool, because we've been going to the pool every day. Well, Alex is going back to work, but I plan on going to the pool. Did you guys see? I've gotten so much sun. I looked at my feet in the bathroom, and there's like white spaces between my toes now. I'm like, oh my God, I have that tan that I used to have when I was like growing up, where you're like, I mean, and today I got my backside and everything so dark. Because we went to the pool, so we went to brunch today at Patashu. And then we went, I have to go to the restroom, so I'm going to stop at the gas station. I'm going to see if they have some of that limoncello stuff. But anyway, and then we went to the pool afterwards. We got to the pool at like 2:40, and we stayed until like 4:30. And I didn't really have a lot to make videos about today. I was going to do a review of something, but I'm going to do it tomorrow. And I'd already made my Peterisms video and my Peter Likes Books. I was going to post a TBR, but I haven't put it together yet. And I didn't have really anything to put for a drama video. So I was like, I'm just going to, you know, relax the rest of the day. And I did, and it was really nice. And Alex and I, we watched RuPaul's Drag Race, and he had his leftovers from last night, and I went and got Burger King. I got an Impossible Whopper, and we ate, and then we went to bed early, and kind of were just, he watched another show, and then he came upstairs to bed. It was nice. We had such a great day. It was just beautiful outside. Oh, I went to Target too, and I bought another bathing suit, because they had these Speedo bathing suits. They're not like Speedos, they're like trunks, but they're Speedo brand, and I love them. And so I got a blue one. Now I have a blue one and a red one. And then I got new shampoo and conditioner. I got that Beach Bum shampoo and conditioner. It smells really good. It's like coconuts. And then I got some SPF spray, but it's low, so don't come for me. It's 4. But it does have the tanning oil in it. I wanted some of the oil in it, so it's like spray oil with 4. I'm so excited. So then I have my little backpack, my little North Face backpack that I can take to the pool for the day. I've been meeting everybody at the pool. I love it. So anyway, all right, you guys. I'm gonna get off here now. I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching. Put a blue heart in the comment section below if you made it this far. And there's no way I'm gonna finish this vlog by the time I get up to this gas station here. So I'm gonna have to, I think maybe I'll just go in here and then I will come back out and finish my goodbye sessions. But anyway, if you made it this far in the vlog, thank you for watching. And if you made it this far, please put a blue heart in the comment section below, which I won't know because everybody leaves blue hearts anyway. But anyway, and if you like this video, please give it, or this vlog, please, if you like this video and this vlog, please give it a big thumbs up. And also, make sure that you're still subscribed to my channel. And if you haven't already subscribed, think about subscribing. And subscribing to all of my channels. I have 5 channels total. And yeah, also leave a comment. If you don't want to leave a comment, just leave a blue heart for all of us, all of us OG Wolfpackers that are just trying to get through life one day at a time, putting some positivity and love and kindness and compassion out there in the world. And yeah. So anyway, what are these people doing? Just like standing in there talking or something? Anyway, I hope you guys are having an amazing, what is tomorrow? An amazing, God, it's Monday already. I hope you're having an amazing Monday, unless you have other plans. But like I always say, don't have other plans. Make the most of your day. Do something fun today. Do something exciting. Start a new book. Start a new movie. Start a new TV show. Do something that makes you really happy tomorrow. You know, whether it's gardening or crafting or cooking or whatever, you know? Or maybe it's, I don't know, making jellies, jams, and juices. Also, do something that will make yourself proud when you look back on it tomorrow or the next day or next week or next month or next year or 5 years from now or 10 years from now or 20 years from now or 50 years from now or 60 years from now or 69 years from now, family friendly, or 80 years from now or 88 years from now or 100 years from now or 110 years from now or even 120 years from now. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. make sure that I love you. I love you. Make sure that you look at yourself in the mirror every single day and you tell yourself, I love you, and at least one positive affirmation like you are valuable or you are beautiful. Say things that you need to hear to believe in yourself. And every night before you go to bed, look in the mirror and tell yourself, I love you, and at least one positive affirmation like you are valuable or you are beautiful. And every night before you go to bed, tell yourself or say to yourself, tomorrow is going to be an amazing day. I'm going to be happy, joyous, and free all day long. I'm going to sing, I'm going to dance, I'm going to cry if I need to, and feel my emotions all day long. And I'm going to hang out with my friends and family if I can. And if I have to work, well, I'm going to try to be as happy as I possibly can and do the best effort at my work. And when I'm not working, I'm going to spend time doing the things I love and reading and, crafting and all that kind of stuff, doing things I'm passionate about. I'm going to have great opportunities come my way all day long, and I'm going to have positive experiences all day long. And if my day gets off track and I start getting negative, well, I can start my day over whenever I want. And, just go to the other room and I'm starting my day over. And when you get up in the morning, say to yourself, today is going to be an amazing day. I'm going to be happy, joyous, and free all day today. I'm going to sing, I'm going to dance, I'm going to laugh, I'm going to cry if I want to. I'm going to stay in focus most of the day, I hope. Come on now. Today is going to be an amazing day. I'm going to be happy, joyous, and free all day today. I'm going to sing, I'm going to dance, I'm going to laugh. Did I say that before? I don't think I said that for the night one. So anyway, just add that to the night before. The night before, say to yourself, tomorrow, I'm going to sing, I'm going to dance, I'm going to laugh, and I'm going to cry. But say to yourself, today, I'm going to have an amazing day. I'm going to be happy, joyous, and free all day today. I'm going to sing, I'm going to dance, I'm going to laugh, I'm going to cry if I need to. I'm going to feel my emotions all day long. I'm going to hang out with people that I love today, my friends and my family if I'm able to, and if not, I'll spend some time alone. Take a nap maybe. If I have to work, I'll do my best job I possibly can and put my heart and soul into it and, try to do it with a smile on my face. And when I'm not working, I'm going to do things that I love, like reading and writing and crafting and all kinds of stuff. And I'm going to have great opportunity. I'm gardening, cooking, whatever. I'm going to have great opportunities come my way all day long. And I'm going to have positive experiences all day long as well. And if my day gets off track and I start getting negative, like if I'm at work and I'm like, I don't want to be here. Well, or anything. If I'm crafting and I'm like, I can't get this damn crochet knot. That's for you, Mel, if she made it this far. Anyway, if I'm just having one of those days and it's just like I'm starting to get negative, well, I can start my day over whenever I want. If my day starts getting negative, and I can start my day over. Well, if my day starts getting negative, well, I can start my day over whenever I want. I always have to say it that way with the well in front of it. Well, water. Anyway. Okay, I stopped it because the dude next to me was like staring me down and it was making me really nervous. Anyway, most importantly, make sure that you reach out to somebody and let them know how much they mean to you. It can be anybody. Just, call or text somebody up. I'm sure they're still looking at me. And just be like, hey, I was just thinking of you. How are you doing? You doing okay? I was thinking of you. And if you really are doing that on a regular basis, will you let me know in the comment section below and say, yeah, I'm one of those people that reaches out to somebody. Because I do think it makes a difference. I really do. And I need to do a better job of it, And I think it's easy sometimes to sit on the other side and be like, nobody ever reaches out to me. But then to ask yourself, are you reaching out to somebody else, Also, practice random acts of kindness. And like I always say, don't tell anyone. Just do it because it's the right thing to do. It's a nice thing to do. Just do just a few. Even just one a day will make a total difference. It can be something small. You don't have to put any money into it. It can be something free. Just do something nice. Take a newspaper up that's at the end of the driveway, or whatever. Push their trash can up to the front of their whatever. Unless it's somebody that doesn't want you in their yard. Or our neighbors are pretty good about that though. They like it. I know I like it when somebody pushes my trash cans up to my garage and all I have to do is open my garage doors. Our neighbors are really nice about stuff like that. So anyway, I think that's it. All right, you guys. Yep, that's it. So I love you guys. I hope you're having an amazing Monday, like I said, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya.